right, joining me right now for more is our consulting editor, Rajdeep Sardesai. Rajdeep, the MCD poll results, how do you read them? Convincing win, but not big enough. What are the biggest takeaways?
You know, Preeti, let me put a caveat right at the start. I'm a little hesitant in making big takeaways based on a municipal election where the margins can be very narrow, because with low voter turnout, small size constituencies, to make big takeaways would be a little dangerous and perhaps at times even erroneous. Having said that, clearly, given the fact that the AAP had pitched this election as an opportunity to score another convincing win over the BJP, they failed in that mission. They've not been able to show that they have dominated the MCD election. They've had a narrow win. But the very fact that they have been able to defeat a machine like the BJP, which even invests so much of its political capital in a municipal election, does show that AAP is Delhi's party number one now. It also shows that the BJP, with about a 39% vote share, retains a very strong base in the national capital. They've been able to use that base very successfully, Preeti, in Lok Sabha elections, not so successfully in the last two Vidhan Sabha elections. As far as the Congress is concerned, they've had again a setback because they are simply unable to totally lift themselves. But I think there is a lesson for the AAP that if they want to maintain their complete dominance over Delhi, they're going to have to deliver on the ground. They've made a lot of promises in this election, and I think voters will judge them more and more harshly, and they too will suffer from anti-incumbency over time. So I think net-net, the AAP has had a narrow win, which will give them relief, but it can't be an occasion for them to triumph as much as to introspect.
No, convincing win at that. This is the first time that the Aam Aadmi Party was facing an incumbent Bharatiya Janata Party in terms of the MCD polls. But I'm going to ask you two very quick questions, Rajdeep. I'm going to bring you in on the Congress here. You know, with what the Congress has done, huge fall from 2017, but with at least even what we were projecting in terms of vote share more than that, has the Congress actually dented the Aam Aadmi Party? There is a significant vote bank which was with the Aam Aadmi Party, let's say in the 2020 state assembly polls, which has now gravitated back to the Congress.
Look, what has happened is clearly the AAP has, compared to 2020, suffered a diminution. And the Congress has had a minor bump up compared to 2020, mainly in some of the minority-dominated areas. And that for AAP will be a cause for worry, that there are a section of the Muslim, not across Delhi, because there are Muslim pockets where the AAP has also done well, but there are a section of the Muslims who obviously are feeling a little disillusioned that Arvind Kejriwal perhaps has not stood up for them, whether it was for CAA or during the Delhi riots. But having said that, you know, the Congress party is clutching at straws. You know, a 12%, 13% vote share is still a long way from you becoming a relevant party in Delhi. The AAP has taken a considerable share of the Congress vote over the last decade, and I think Delhi, in a sense, has become a space where the Congress is going to find it very difficult now to recover, because the AAP has consolidated. Look, they've won 3 major elections now, or 4 some would say, but suddenly 2015, 20 and now 22. Defeating the BJP in any election
but you know,
the
fact, but the fact is that the Congress really didn't do anything in this election. Without doing anything, it's got a sizable chunk of a minority vote bank, which, you know, went away in 2020. They've got them back. I want to talk a bit about the BJP, because when you look at the BJP and you look at the kind of polarization, it cuts both ways for the Aam Aadmi Party. They've lost the Muslim vote in the national capital, but there's been massive polarization as well, because if you look at the northern region, you know, the northeast region, Rajdeep, even in the rural belts also, huge support for the Bharatiya Janata Party. And that they would tantamount to polarization. There has been, and it's gravitated entirely towards the BJP.
You know, not just the northeast, but the east of Delhi.
Yes.
You know, you will see the BJP having done better. Northeast was where the unfortunate riots took place in 2020, and we've seen in the past where riots take place, an element of communal polarization takes place on the ground. The scars and the wounds are still very raw. The BJP has done relatively well, therefore, east of Delhi, Yamuna Par. But the BJP too has not been able, you know, the BJP has not been able to really offset the incumbency disadvantage that it faced by pushing the Prime Minister's face, by putting up all those union ministers, chief ministers, going in for delimitation, attacking the AAP on corruption. Look, the BJP used every weapon available.
True.
They even delayed these MCD polls so that AAP would not get a bump straight after the Punjab election. Despite all that, while the BJP has certainly held on to its core vote and thereby established, as I said, the fact that it's not going anywhere, it wasn't able to do enough to displace the AAP as Delhi's party number one. And therefore, the BJP also has to introspect. It's a strange election where all three players have to introspect for different reasons. The AAP, because it has to realize that it cannot be ideologically flexible all the time. It's going to have to deliver on promises. BJP, because it cannot put all its eggs in Mr. Modi's basket in every election. And the Congress, because it needs a narrative for revival. It needs a leadership that will inspire on the ground, even at a civic election.
Well, you're bang on, Rajdeep, because for the Aam Aadmi Party, it's lost the minority vote to the Congress, and where it comes down to the majority, with the counter-polarization, at least in the northeast area, it's even lost the majority of that Hindu vote in that segment as well. So where does the AAP stand? It will have to go back to the drawing board, at least in this regard. Thank you, Rajdeep, for joining us.